I was reminded this week of a phrase, and it stuck with me ever since I heard it again. There's power in the pause. You've likely heard that phrase at some point as well, and it can apply to so many different areas of our life, can't it? For those in law or business, they say that there is power in the pause at the negotiating table when you allow your position to carry its weight. For those of us who do a lot of public speaking, we know that there is power when you take those moments to intentionally pause right in the middle of your talk or sermon and let your audience or your congregation think about what you just said. I actually know a leader who was once told by a consultant that one of the best things he could do when meeting with his team was to pause and count to 10 before responding to what someone just said. The consultant told him that it would help the team members feel heard, and it would give him the chance to consider all information and opinions before offering his own. Ultimately, it would lead to better overall decisions. There can be power in the pause at times, because we also know that there are moments when the right words just don't exist. We come alongside those who have gone through tragedy and hardship. Maybe they've lost a loved one. We want them to know that we are there for them, don't we? And we want to say something that will bring them comfort. Sometimes, though, offering anything beyond an expression of how sorry you are for what they're going through actually runs the risk of devolving into nothing more than simple platitudes and bring no true comfort, or worse, could actually end up doing harm. Sometimes people don't need your words. Sometimes it's okay to say nothing at all, to just pause and sit and embrace and just be. What they need is not your words, but your presence. There's power when you just sit with someone and pause and spend time together. My last seminar in my doctoral program was centered on utilizing coaching approaches to certain aspects of pastoral ministry. Specifically, we were focused on helping individuals and teams work through challenging moments and problems by asking powerful questions and helping them discover the answers deep within themselves. The reality is that when you are going through something challenging, your thoughts become so clouded at times with the stress and pressure and the unknown, you can't see what is already within you. So whether it was a pastoral conversation or a team meeting, maybe even a visioning session with the congregation, we were taught that the very first thing we should do is pause with whoever was in the room and create space right then and there for opportunities for them to connect with themselves, to connect with God, and connect with others in their life. By pausing, by opening up their perspective, and by acknowledging from the very beginning that we have deep connections to incredible resources, it enables us to start addressing the challenges or issues that we're facing from a place of abundance when we might have entered the conversation with a mindset of scarcity. Now, as a dad, I see the power of the pause on a regular basis. After all, as our children grow and develop, and as they gain new life experiences, they also begin to experience emotions that confuse and overwhelm them. They become frustrated and angry. They become excited to an uncontrollable level. They grieve, but they don't have the language to process their sense of loss, so they lash out. They cry. They throw a tantrum to release whatever they're feeling. And then they try to regain control by any means necessary. They cry out for help even. And what do we do as parents? We try to get them to pause. We encourage them to breathe. We encourage them to step away until they've regained control. Now, we never want to invalidate what they're feeling. We just want them to know the power of pausing and acknowledging what they're feeling and finding a healthy way to process it so that it isn't harmful to them or anyone else. This is something that we adults need to do as well, don't we? When we start to recognize that what we are feeling is reaching that point that is overwhelming, we need to become comfortable pausing. Step away for a moment. Be by yourself. Ask your partner if you can take a time out from whatever argument you're having so that you can gather your thoughts. Step away from the desk. Take a break from work so that you can have a clear head and be more productive once you start again. We need to develop patterns of pausing in our weekly and even daily rhythms. Those of us of the Christian faith know that the Bible tells us that after God created the world, God rested. In other words, God paused. And it set forth a pattern of Sabbath rest where for one day people should stop working and stop producing and pause and rest. There's power in that Sabbath pause. It can shape your perspective and remind you how much bigger the world is than just you, that things keep going even without your efforts. Stopping to rest and taking a nap and reconnecting with creation, leaning into things that bring you joy, can be one of the healthiest things you can do. And making a regular pattern out of it can help prevent burnout. It can help bring a sense of restoration and vitality that makes you more prepared for whatever comes up next week. So give it a try this week. Embrace a practice of pausing. Be intentional about it so that you can learn how to fall back on that practice in moments of stress and challenge when you least expect it. And look at your schedule for the next day or maybe the week ahead, and plan a time or times when you think you might actually be able to have a moment to pause, something that's free from noise and distraction. Mine's usually very early in the morning when everyone else in the house is still asleep. But yours could be at a lunch break or right before you go to sleep at night. Whenever it is, make a commitment to that moment. Determine that nothing's going to prevent you from fully embracing that experience except a true family emergency. Find a comfortable place where you can sit and be still. It might be a chair or a couch. It might be on the floor on a mat or a blanket as you sit cross-legged. It might be that you find that you're able to be most still and to pause actually when you're lying down. But wherever you are, be attentive to all that is going on in your body and your heart and your mind. Simply breathe and listen. Listen to the sounds around you. Listen to the sound of your breath. Listen to the thoughts in your head. Listen to the joys and pains in your hearts. Just listen. Acknowledge everything you notice and hear, and stay with the first thought or voice or feeling or whatever until the next one comes along. Ask what your mind or body might be processing or trying to tell you. Ask what God might be trying to tell you. What has gone unacknowledged in your life until now? What might you need to work through? What have you taken for granted that needs to be cherished and honored in the future? And keep breathing. And remember and give thanks to God for those that are in your life on this journey with you. If you are like me, pausing will take practice. It might not be comfortable at first. It might take some getting used to. If you embrace it and stick with it, though, you might be surprised just how powerful it is. Have a great week. I look forward to connecting with you again soon.